Before we move on to our next topic, let me tell you about our friends over at Hunt to Harvest. Now, if you're wanting to update and upgrade your hunting apparel, head over to hunttoharvest.com and check out their spring 2023 collection, where they have new styles in for turkey hunters and different types of fishing. Now, they still have plenty of hats, especially in the Richardson 112 style, and their mystery box special is still going on. So do not hesitate to click on that link below and support this great brand who know hunting is about spending time with loved ones, providing for your family through the harvest, and giving thanks to the one who created all things big and small. And when you go over there and go to check out, be sure to enter that promo code RADNEY18923 to get an additional 10% off on your purchase at checkout. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 3 Wide. I'm your host, Radney Crawford. Today, we're going to be going over some of the racing action from Dover this past weekend, as well as some of the rumors and speculation that's slowly starting to trickle its way out when it comes to silly season 2023. Now, starting things off with the race weekend at Dover, you had the Truex brothers sweep the weekend, Ryan getting his first career Xfinity win on Saturday, and Martin Truex getting the win on Sunday, breaking his 54-race winless streak. Big weekend for the Truex family. Ryan, everything kind of came full circle for him Saturday. He nearly won all the way back in 2012 for Joe Gibbs Racing at Dover in the Xfinity Series, being passed by Joey Logano right there with about 5 or 6 laps to go after getting caught in lap traffic. And since then, Ryan's been kind of, bouncing from team to team, trying to find solid footing in the sport, going from the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, to where now he seems to have latched onto Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing, and he is making the most of this opportunity. Last year, he got some part-time starts in the 18 car with Trevor Baines, Sammy Smith, and a few others. And Truex was, I hate to say underwhelming in his starts, but he definitely statistically wasn't the strongest driver. That one belonged to Trevor Bain. He wasn't able to continue into any more races this season so far, and when a lot of people were hoping he would turn into a full-time ride with Joe Gibbs. But Truex is back in 2023, and so far he has been extremely competitive every time he has stepped in this 19 car. And Saturday it all paid off. He gets the race win, was the dominant car all race long, and really gets a lot of weight off his shoulders. Getting this win, now he can look ahead. Fans are already looking ahead as to, can he turn this into a full-time ride in 2024? And it'll be interesting to see if he's able to, where it goes. Will it be with Joe Gibbs Racing? Would it be with a good friend of his, Sam Hunt, with Sam Hunt Racing and their Toyota team? I think either one of those two teams would be very lucky to have Truex. Now that he actually has momentum on his side, a lot of confidence, probably higher than he's ever had before, it'll be interesting to see how he continues to perform on the Xfinity Series schedule. And Martin on Sunday, he was able to snap that 54-race winless streak after an exciting battle with Ross Chastain. Granted, we were, it was kind of cut short what was going to be a great battle. You had Truex trying to fight his way through lap traffic, Chastain gaining on him. Truex had already held off Chastain in an excellent battle, taking away Chastain's line, running up top. These drivers were searching all over the track, and tire wear was a big deal, and I think played a key role in this race being as good as it was. But with the late caution, Truex came in to 2 tires along with Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney, and was able to hold off Chastain and get the race win. And for Truex, this definitely gets a weight off his shoulders as well, much like his brothers. He's been riding on a 54-race winless streak, and Truex stepped up to the plate and won at one of his better tracks, the racetrack where he won his first career race with DEI back in 2007. So a solid day for Martin Truex. And really the big story of the race itself was Ross Chastain knocking Brennan Poole and the Rick Ware Racing car out of the way going into turn 1, which took out Kyle Larson, who was running up in the top 5 at the time with Ross Chastain. And, a lot of people were quick to jump on Ross, and I was one of them. This was a move that was completely unnecessary. It reminded me much of Denny Hamlin and J.J. Yeley back at Richmond. Just something that wasn't called for. Brennan, he was actually battling for position with Austin Dillon, and this was Brennan's first start since, I believe, 2020 in the Cup Series, so he was just simply trying to complete all the laps and have a good, solid run. It gets cut short. He was not happy with Ross, along with a lot of other people, Kyle Larson included, and this was definitely on Ross. He has to show better awareness in these situations. 80 laps into a race, there's no need to push it that far. And things like this can keep you from winning a Cup Series championship. If you keep ticking these other drivers off, they are going to remember it down the line and pay it back when it costs you the most. We did see Larson kind of hold up Ross as Ross was trying to make a run on Truex there at the end, which I thought was the best payback that could be done, especially at the speeds they run at Dover. But the time's going to come where Ross is going to cross a driver who's not going to take it. It's like, say, Kevin Harvick, who's in his last year. If these two get crossed up, Harvick's going to, immediately let it be known he's not going to drive like that. He's said earlier in the season, basically, it's going to be time to pay up quick. It's his last run. So Chastain has to be careful. If he wants to continue to move forward in the sport, to be a consistent championship contender, he has to show better awareness and better control. And he did apologize after the race, that he was going to go up to that race shop today. And I believe his apology, I believe it was sincere. But it doesn't take away from the fact of you got to make better decisions and understand your surroundings, understand what's going on around you. Yes, there's times to push the throttle, to be aggressive, but it doesn't have to be from lap 1, or in this case, lap 80. It's a long race. Take your time, take a breath, and just get through the lap traffic and live to fight another lap. And switching gears to silly season, you had Legacy Motor Club come out today and announce that they will be swapping manufacturers from Chevrolet to Toyota in 2024. So Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, they'll be back in the Toyota family next season. And this is a huge win for both Legacy Motor Club and Toyota. Toyota, you look at the number of teams they have in their manufacturer lineup compared to the others, and there's a big gap there. They needed to get teams to swap to them. Right now, they're not planning on having any other teams join them yet, and that's fine. Legacy Motor Club brings 2 more cars to their stable, and that will pay a big difference, especially when it comes to super speedways, where you can see at the end, say it's a late restart, and most of the time it's a Toyota driver or 2 Toyota drivers up there by themselves, surrounded by Chevrolet and Ford drivers. This gives them a little bit more of a chance at teaming up together and trying to get one of their cars in victory lane. Also for Legacy, when it comes to the rankings over at Chevrolet, they're not even in the top 3 teams, in my opinion. You got Hendrick Motorsports, Richard Childress Racing, and now Trackhouse as the top 3 Chevrolet teams. Now Legacy goes to Toyota, where they're going to be a little bit more of a priority than they were at Chevrolet. I expect them to be much more competitive next season, kind of get back to the way they looked last season when this first next-gen car first came out, and Eric looked so competitive in that 43 car. But it's been a lackluster season for Legacy. And now with the move official that they're going to Toyota, I'm afraid that will continue. Now it may be a little bit different with the next gen car and everything coming, all the pieces of the car coming from one dealer. But could we see Chevrolet start to pull the reins back on their support for Legacy Motor Club? Possibly. I think they could see themselves kind of cut out of meetings when it comes to Daytona and Talladega and Atlanta, these super speedway competition meetings. Time will tell, but either way, I think this is going to be a big win for Legacy going into 2024, and it's going to be a key storyline to watch and how they perform with Toyota. Now, the next big silly season piece, Martin Truex Jr. Last year, it was, kind of said that Truex, he's kind of getting to the end of his career. He's kind of tired of the grind. He's ready to call it a day and decided to come back for 2023. But a lot of fans, a lot of media members, myself included, figured that this was going to be the last full-time season for Truex. Now with this win, breaking this winless streak, Joe Gibbs said in the post-race media conference that he's trying to get Truex to come back for one more year, at least, to get him to come back to the team and give it one more go. And look, Truex is now on a high. He just broke a big winless streak. Could we see Truex come back for another full-time season? And if that is the case, that's going to throw a huge kink in the silly season for this season. A lot of people already had John Hunter Nemechek pegged as the guy to replace Truex. If Truex doesn't leave and comes back for next season, does that leave John Hunter with another season in the Xfinity Series? Or does Toyota try and make room for him, say, at Legacy Motor Club? Highly unlikely, but just a scenario to throw out there. Toyota, I'm sure, wants to keep John Hunter in the fold. He is definitely one of the top drivers for them in their lineup. especially on the Xfinity Series side, and I think will perform at a high level if he can stay with Toyota and get to Joe Gibbs Racing. So that'll be one thing to watch. Also, what could that mean for Martin's brother Ryan as far as getting a full-time ride next year? Yes, sponsorship is a key part, but if that 20 car does not become open, will it be enough to get a third full-time car with Joe Gibbs Racing? That'll be key to watch. But one of the biggest pieces, and I know I said this about Truex, but the key part is going to be Josh Berry and this 4 car. The rumors, the speculation is that Josh Berry is the favorite to land in this 4 car. Larry McReynolds, he mentioned it on SiriusXM over this past week. Clint Boyer mentioned it in the TV broadcast that Josh Berry has already got a big deal to run in the Cup Series full time next season. Nothing official announced yet, but we're starting to see, signs point to him going to that 4 car. Like it was just announced on social media that he's he's working on signing a multi-year deal with Kevin Harvick's management group, KHI. This was sent out by Adam Stern on Twitter, and Adam's one of the top guys, when it comes to speculation and news, one of the top follows. So if that's the case, signs are pointing towards Berry going to that 4 car, which I think could be a great grab for Stewart-Haas Racing. First of this season, coming into this season, Eric Jones was the favorite to land this car, and rightfully so. But if Eric is committed to this Legacy Motor Club, especially with the move to Toyota, and thinking that, hey, we can turn this team into a true contender week in and week out, he may be happy where he's at. And Eric does seem to have a good fit and a good spot over at Legacy. That opens the window for Josh Berry, who with these starts he's gotten in the Cup Series with Chase Elliott's injury and now Alex Bowman's injury, grinding out these top 10s, these solid runs, it's put him at the top of the pecking order when it comes to the next Cup Series driver up from the Xfinity Series. And Josh is a consistent driver. We saw it when he started making part-time starts just as recent as 2021 with Junior Motorsports, and he got his first career win at Martinsville. And then filling in for Michael Annett, winning that race in Las Vegas with the 1 car. This is an excellent plug in the system driver. He can go out there and be consistent, as we've seen in this 48 car, in this 9 car, and is able to get top 10s and even a second place finish out of it. If he goes to this 4 car, then I think that car stays just as competitive as it does now. Berry can keep this car in the top 10, top 5, and I think will compete for wins all throughout the season. And Berry has been able to get these solid finishes, mind you, in part-time starts. So that's another reason I think he will keep that 4 car up near the front. You put him in a car full-time, let him gel with the team, with the crew chief. It's only going to make him that much better, and he'll be up in the front more than he is now. And before we sign off, some more news, NASCAR news that's, kind of something to keep an eye on in the coming months, as this is a little bit further down the road before we hear anything official, is the new TV deal. Now, NASCAR is, according to Adam Stern again on social media, he is saying that it looks like NASCAR is going to keep their same TV partners, Fox and NBC, but they are looking at doing some races on the streaming services like Amazon or Apple. They're kind of thinking about dipping their toe in that water. And it'll be interesting to see how that's received by the NASCAR fans. I think it's worth a shot just to try and see if you can get any more interest on the streaming services. That's what a lot of people are swapping over to. It could be a huge gain for NASCAR, but that'll be something to keep your eye on. And look, at the first part of the season, the ratings were down across the board for NASCAR in the double digits after some races. But now, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the ratings start going back up, and it's coming out of prime time in the schedule. We're getting ready for Kansas, which is one of the best mile-and-a-half tracks on the schedule. They always put an exciting race on there. You got North Wilkesboro, the All-Star race. That's going to be a huge ratings win for NASCAR, I believe, the return to North Wilkesboro. Of course, the Coca-Cola 600 on Memorial Day weekend. And as we're moving into the summer, we got a lot of big races coming up. So NASCAR's getting hot with these ratings at the right time, but keep your eye on over the next several months to see how this TV deal, the new TV deal, shakes up for the sport. And that'll wrap up this week's episode. As always, thank you for joining me and watching along. Don't forget, you can click on any of the links below in the description. That will take you to my weekly podcast, which the new episode will drop tomorrow night, where we go more in depth over the race weekend at Dover. Look ahead to this upcoming weekend's races at Kansas and any more news that may break between now and then in the NASCAR world. You can also subscribe to this channel so you know when the new videos drop. We also do weekly shorts for the fantasy picks for the upcoming Sunday Cup race. And be sure to head over to hunttoharvest.com. Let them know we sent you. Use that promo code RADNEY18923 at checkout. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week. And we will see y'all back same time to go over Kansas next week.